Hey everybody, welcome back to the Manny and Sean experience. This week on the pod, we get a little spooky as we talk about our adventures at Howl-O-Scream. We talk a little bit about Beyonce's new film, and we'll see what else we get into. Stay tuned.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Manny and Sean experience. My name is Manolito.
And I'm Sean.
And so happy to have you with us here on another episode of our pod. This is episode
51.
51. We have crossed the milestone.
We have.
So welcome to everybody. Thank you for joining us again for another episode. Welcome to our new listeners, watchers, subscribers, followers.
Everybody.
Everybody. We like to use that line.
If you don't know where that's from,
he's about to tell you.
it is from Kelly Rowland's Dirty Laundry.
Let's do this dirty laundry, I just noticed we've said it a lot in the vlogs.
We have.
For the cruise.
And I'm like, people probably don't know where that's from. So now you know. And if you haven't heard this song, go listen to it. It is about Kelly and her going through...
hating Beyonce.
Not only that, going through an abusive relationship, along with jealousy that came along with Beyonce rising as a star and Kelly feeling like she wasn't. It's a very good song, though.
She does not hate Beyonce.
She does
Let me
not
just
hate
clarify
Beyonce.
that. They are like sisters.
Yes.
All right. But yes, welcome back to another episode of our podcast. If you just watch our YouTubes and you landed on this video, we also have a weekly podcast that comes out Wednesdays on YouTube and on all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So you may want to like, subscribe, follow, all those good things.
Yeah.
So you can catch us when we drop a new podcast, because they're just as interesting as the vlogs, I think.
They are.
I'm just not as drunk or high.
Well,
For the
most of the
part.
time. Yeah, it's... what was that? I lost my train of thought.
I'm not in your brain.
I know that it is kind of a time sink because our podcasts are typically about an hour. And I know it's hard to get people to commit to that amount of time, but for the most part, they are very entertaining and informative.
Yeah.
So,
But if you can't dedicate the hour to watch it,
Yeah.
we're on streaming as well. Spotify, Apple, Live Nation, Google Pods, all those things.
Yes.
We're on all of them somehow. I don't know.
So catch us on your commute to work or back to the house or long trips, whatever. We'll keep you company.
You can laugh. You can argue with us. All those good things.
All those good things.
The only thing is we will not respond if you're arguing with us.
I mean,
So you have to DM us if you want to argue. Or share your perspective.
Yes. And we welcome all perspectives.
Yes. How are you doing, sir?
I am good, a little tired, but hanging in there. And we'll discuss on this podcast why I'm tired. But go ahead. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good too. Likewise with the tiredness, the voice a little hoarse.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm sick, but we'll tell you, even though we told you at the cold opening of the pod. But anyways, with that, let's just get into the mixtape.
You're in the mix.
Welcome back to the mixtape, y'all. This week, we're talking about Howl-O-Scream at Busch Gardens, Tampa. We know there's a couple. There's like Orlando and San Diego, but we specifically went to our hometown theme park, Busch Gardens, which has seen our face more than I can count this year.
Yeah, we're really getting our money's worth out of this annual pass this year.
Yeah, we got annual pass, and there's like a year. There's been times where a year's gone by we haven't gone.
Yeah.
This year we've been, I want to say, over 10 times already.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've been struggling to get people through the door, so they've been doing a lot of incentives to get pass holders to come, and a lot of them have been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just going to get the free item or the free drink that they're offering, sometimes it's good get out the house, walk around a bit, see
Sweat,
some
get some
things,
steps.
get some steps, and then get a free drink for it. But yeah, we went to Howl-O-Scream yesterday. When you're seeing this pod, obviously it's Wednesday, but or whatever day you watch it. But yeah, we went. We got there a bit earlier. The event starts at 7. I think we got there around 6 something.
Mm-hmm.
So we killed time by going on Iron Gwazi, which is their newest coaster. But yeah.
Yeah. For those of you, I guess I was waiting for him to explain what Howl-O-Scream actually is. Howl-O-Scream, if you're not aware, is a Halloween event at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Currently, they have 5 houses. I believe 6 scare zones. Once I get through the notes, I can clarify that for you. But it's a smaller, scaled down version of Halloween Horror Nights. You know, at this point, I think every theme park has its own Halloween event. Like Knott's Berry Farm has one. Six Flags. There's a lot of homegrown spooky events, but we bought our tickets in advance, and we were like, we'll go this year. It's been a couple of years. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, when we went in 2020 during COVID, they didn't have houses because, you know, enclosed spaces, didn't want a bunch of people going through there and touching things. So they did open air scare zones, and that was disappointing.
That was a total 0 out of 10.
And we paid more money than we paid this year to go.
Yeah, that was 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I think everybody was wanting to get out of the house. Right. I don't think people cared.
I guess not. But what I paid, I expected more.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
So fast forward, 3 years later, we're like, let's go. We haven't been in a while. Let's go check it out. The last real year we went, I think it was 2019 or 2018, where we walked through the houses. And that was a crap storm.
They've had good years that we've gone. And
when I say crap storm that one year, the houses were great. Mm-hmm. The operation was not good.
Them controlling lines and that kind of thing.
It was just massive pandemonium of crowds, and they didn't know how to move people through the park.
Yeah, that was not.
So that's what made the experience bad last time, but the houses were 10 out of 10.
But this time it was like the complete opposite. Like I said, I feel like they're struggling to get people to come to the park regardless of the event. But we went on a Friday night, and the park wasn't that busy.
No, it's looked like most of the summer when we've gone.
Yeah.
Just parking half empty, or I'd say more than half empty.
Yeah.
We didn't do lines for 3 of the 5 houses.
Yeah.
2 of them said 20 minutes, but I think it was less than 20 minutes, probably maybe
they were
like 10.
Like 10 or 15.
And Busch Gardens actually, I don't know if they'll keep this if it does pick up. They space it out. Like you go in groups versus Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando is our only other reference point besides Screamageddon. Is a very conga line. Like keep going. There's people in the house. Like keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Like you literally don't get to appreciate
the scares.
The scares.
Because you're seeing the scares before they happen, and by the time you get to the section, like no one's gonna pop out and scare you because you've already seen it.
Right. So applause to Busch Gardens for still staying committed to that pacing of people. Us and the people we were with greatly appreciate that because you do miss a lot when you're going in a conga line, and we're looking forward to Halloween Horror Nights, but I'm just like, we paid all this money and you're just being rushed through the house. Yeah. Like to wait 3 hours and get rushed through the house. Now Busch Gardens, by the time this comes out and our vlog comes out the Friday after the pod, you may go and like Manny and Sean lied to me, the line with 3 hours. I can't help that. But historically, what we've heard this year, it has been pretty dead Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
I expected the first big October weekend to be busy, and it was nowhere near that. Like, we even sat down and ate.
Yeah, I mean, we got through the house. I mean, it's only 5 houses, but we got through them all.
We were
within,
done
like 2 hours.
Yeah, we were done by like 9ish.
Yeah. So,
and that included the stop to eat.
Right. So, like you said, most of the houses we did were just walk right in. The last 2 we had to wait, but overall, I enjoyed the event this year. I think they did a good job with the scare zones. I think they did a good job with most of the houses. And just the event in general, I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, I did too. So we'll tell you a little bit about our experience in each house, and then on Friday after this comes out, go watch our experience. I'm sure you'll have a blast watching me scream and jump along with my sister. And we had a new guest that will be featured on our vlog. It's Mr. Corey. So he'll be on there as well. So this list is not in order of what we did the houses, but we'll kind of just go with them.
It's fine.
The first house we're going to talk about is the Circus of Fear house, which is a brand new house to Busch Gardens Howl-O-Scream. That's something Busch Gardens is different from Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween Horror Nights focuses on recreating or creating brand new homes every year. Busch Gardens usually introduces 1 or 2 and then repurposes or revamps other houses.
Yeah.
Which is why we sometimes skip multiple years, because you don't want to see the same houses over and over again, right? The Circus of Fear is a new one. It's pretty much what you think, Circus of Fear. It's got all the circusy things, but just a little something went wrong in the circus, and the performers are trying to kill you.
Yeah. This was actually the last house we did.
Yeah.
One thing that I appreciate about most of the houses is that before you actually get to the house, there's kind of a build up to it. And the same thing was happening with the circus. There's a banner that you enter. There's a ringmaster of sorts outside with a megaphone that's welcoming you into the circus. And there's kind of like a little path that you go along until you get to the big top. And usually there's people out there scaring you already before you even get into the house. So I really appreciated that added effect.
I feel like Universal creates really nice facades, but they lack that interaction at the beginning.
Yeah.
The circus guy that introduced or welcomed us did come back as we were getting ready to go into the big top, and he's got a megaphone. Right. Scared the living Jesus out of us. This house was actually probably my lowest rated house of the night. It felt very short.
It did feel shorter than the other houses, but the scares they had were mostly good.
The scares were good. It didn't feel like, as we get in through the houses, this wasn't a house where you felt it was very intense.
No.
It was very free flowing. There were some good scares. It just wasn't intense to where, we got out and we're like, oh, that was cute.
Yeah.
It was cute. Like, they did a good job. It was visually very pretty inside.
Yeah.
It felt like you were under the big top circus, the costuming. But it just lacked some scares, I think, to create that intensity that you usually feel in a haunted house.
I think that was another issue. I feel like there weren't enough people in this house. But overall, like you said, the theming was really good. The scares that you did get were good. So, I mean, it was a solid house. It just wasn't the number one on the list.
Even the guy that introduced us, he actually saw us coming back out.
Yeah.
And he's like, did you enjoy the circus?
Yeah.
He's like, we aim to please. So, I mean, at least there was some pretty cool interactions in that he came back around to us in that. So that was cute.
That was cool.
So recommend it. It just don't, at least in our experience. And I know these houses can be very personal experience. Like, people could have been on break when we went through. And that's why we may have lacked some scares. So it's a lot on perspective, but I'd say that was probably my lowest rated house of the night.
I don't know if it was mine, but we'll see.
All right. The next house is the Stranglewood Estate. If you saw our scavenger hunt Howl-O-Scream vlog, you would have seen a snippet of that house from the outside. This time, we entered the estate. This one is about Miss Stranglewood, is what it's called. She's a lady. Is back for more haunts, and has something sinister waiting behind every corner. Once a lively home filled with laughter and lavish parties is now filled with darkness and the spirit of evil. Welcome back to Stranglewood Estates. Now, this is a returning house. They said it's new scares and effects. We've never been through it, so it was all brand new to us.
I mean, this one, I didn't know the story, but I just figured it was like an old house that was up for sale and the spirits were haunting it. That's what I got from it.
Yeah.
That being said, it was a pretty I don't want to say intense, but it was a good fulfilling house. It felt really long.
Yeah.
The scares were consistent. I thought they had great effects and great theming throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was one room where it's high. There's like a painting, and there's somebody on a table. There's somebody in another corner, and then all of a sudden somebody pops out of a ginormous painting.
Yeah.
The only thing I could equate that to is like if you think of the haunted mansion at Magic Kingdom, the room where the party's happening and the frames are on the wall, and it's high. That's the visual representation you got there. So it added to the experience. You're like, oh wow, I'm in this big gala, and then somebody just comes out of the painting.
Yeah. The only thing, like when we got into the house and started, like the group in front of us was kind of slow to move and go in because I guess they were so scared.
Yeah, they were very scared. I think somebody fell throughout the house.
Yeah.
So we tried to create some separation there because we could.
Right.
And I think once we created that separation, we really got to experience the house.
Yeah.
Because we obviously missed all the scares while they were right in front of us. Because, they're screaming and hollering. They're taking a while to get. So by the time we come in, the scare actors were obviously resetting.
Yeah.
So once we created space, I thought this house was very good. It's very visually nice. I'd say about a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. Probably if we went back through and didn't have that crowd, maybe it would have been more intense.
Maybe.
But
yeah, I'd say it was about a 4 out of 5.
But it was a fun house to get in. We got some good scares in it, I think.
We did.
Do you want to take this one?
So the next house is a returning house. It is the residents' home for the holidays. So it is their Christmas house. And we've been to Busch Gardens before where they've done a Christmas house. This
Universal's done it too.
Universal has I feel like everybody does a holiday themed house at some point. So the residents' home for the holidays is making a haunting return, but things are definitely not as merry as they may seem. Is the description.
It was not merry.
I thought this was a fun house because usually most haunts will have a house that is not the serious one. Like it's scary, but it's also comical. It's funny.
They do like a fun 3D or something.
Yeah.
This was a good play on fun / scary / a little gory.
Yeah. Walking in, you're basically walking into someone's yard. There's a snowman at the entrance.
There's Christmas music playing.
There's
Christmas light, which is kind of cute because it's like, oh, I love Christmas.
Right. But then it just gets a little sinister and dark as you go throughout the house. There was some memorable scenes in this one. Like the grandmother
eating grandpa on the table.
The grandfather on the table.
Like it's intestines.
At some point, you see like Santa and Mrs. Claus, and Santa asks you to pull his finger, and I did, and
he farted.
Mrs.
Claus did not look well.
She did not look well. I'm
not sure what she was doing, but she was not looking well in this holiday season. Yeah. But it was a very fun house. It had good scares, actually. I was joking around in line because I'm like, and in just a few weeks, this will turn into Santa's lair.
I mean, it truly
Because
will.
Busch Gardens has Christmas Town that starts in November. So I'm like, we already set. But
Yeah.
I can see why they label it as a fan favorite because it's just, I don't know, it's just something about the Christmassy part and it's gory and scary that just, even if there wasn't a million scares in there, it just created a fun, spooky environment.
Yeah. And this was another house where I felt it was a good length. Like, it starts off very, I'm in a house, I'm going through a house, and then it's like you get into like the lair, and then when you get past Santa, like I thought that would be the end, but no, there's still more to go through.
It got a little bit more darker after Santa. And our question was, does that Santa work Christmas Town?
Probably.
He has an extended contract for the holidays.
But that was fun.
It was a fun house. I would actually say a 4 out of 5 because it was just that element of fun, scary. The music wasn't scary. It was literally Christmas music throughout the whole house. But I don't know. There's just something about it that is just fun.
It was fun.
I think it was Corey's favorite, and I could be wrong.
I think he said it was his favorite. I can't remember from the vlog, but I think he did say it was his favorite.
The next house, which I think was our first house.
It was our first house.
Is called Witch of the Woods. The witch is back. And just as wicked as ever. Curiosity has brought many travelers into the dark forest, but only bone-chilling stories and dying screams make their way out. With each step deeper into the woods, the prospects of survival quickly fades and demoning disciples haunt wandering interludes through the village. That's a bet. This house was really good to me.
Yeah, this was really good. So, like I said, they have these like trails and entrances before you get to the actual house. This one was really good because it's a long way to get to the house and you're literally feel like you're going through the woods.
Yeah. So there's lighting, there's fog.
Yeah, and you're outside. And we were like, when we first got in, we were like, because this was our first house, we were like, is this the house? Because I'm like, we're outside. It's called Witch in the Woods. That makes sense thematically. There was these little huts along the trail where people were hiding in. There were Busch people.
Yeah.
So we were just walking along. We were like, okay, I guess maybe this is the house until we actually got to the opening of the house.
Yeah. I thought that lead up to the actual house was really cool. It set the tone and it also creates, it's not intensity. What's the word?
The word was right there and then it left. Anticipation,
because you don't know, is this the house? Who's hiding in the woods?
Yeah.
There's a lot of fog. There's a lot of lighting. So that's what I really like about houses is that anticipation that starts creating. And once we're inside the house, it was nonstop scares in this house.
Yeah, this one was really fun. Thematically, I thought, once again, it was a progression. Like you start off in the forest, you see people having rituals. You get further and further in, and you eventually see the witch. Like, it was really good, and it was really long.
It was really long, yeah. It really was. So it was. I rated this a 5 out of 5, I believe, on the blog because it was just the theming, the scares. The cast was intense.
Yeah,
the cast was in your face. It was scare after scare after scare after scare, and I really enjoyed this house. I thought it was the top house for Busch Gardens, and it's actually a returning house. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Witch of the Woods. I just really loved that lead up going through the woods. It was cool. It was
very cool.
It was so smart. They used their property to its advantage.
Which you should do.
Yeah, they didn't even have to create a wood.
No, you did.
But the house was great. Totally recommend that one if you go to Howl-O-Scream.
The next one is The Forgotten Uprising. Description. A year has passed, and lately more and more people have been going missing. The great battle has begun. And the only way to survive is to be brave, fearless, and survive the night.
Survive the night.
So this is also a returning house, but it is reimagined for this year.
Yes.
It is a vampire house.
Mm-hmm.
I love this house. Like the lead up to it, it wasn't as long as like the Witch of the Woods. But using the theming with the rocks and everything, even before you get to the house, there's a guy who is asking like, "Did you bring your steak? You're gonna need your steak." And like just having that interaction with him before going into the house, really set the tone for the house.
Like I started picking up sticks.
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, good, you can go." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what this is going to do to a vampire, but." Let me tell y'all, I'm such an idiot. I walked through the entire fucking house
with this stick
in my hand. Just kept going like this with the stick.
But I feel like this house was really intense from beginning to end.
Yes, it was.
Like as soon as you walk in, it is on.
Yeah. There's no breathing room after your interaction with I don't know who he was.
I don't know who he is either.
He was just warning us that we needed to be prepared.
He's the vampire killer or teacher of killers.
But one unique part of this house was they have like these mini rooms that just one after the other, and you can't see what's in the next room.
Yeah.
I want to say there was maybe 8 of them. And they twist and turn. So you're just like, first of all, you don't know what's happening. And you're going through them. The music is intense. The lighting is intense. Not every room had somebody in them scaring. But maybe every other one did in this intense section of the house. It was just, that's the intensity I'm looking for when I go through a haunted house. And I just felt like that's when you start going like, when are we getting out of here? When is this going to end? Is this ever going to end? So I think they played very well to that psyche part of scaring by creating the house like that.
Yeah, there were a bunch of different rooms, like you said, the smaller rooms, very well themed. There was a lot going on in this house. Mm-hmm. Like the further you got into it, the more things were going on. It was like, I don't know, there was a vampire king.
There was a king.
He had like a throne, and it was a lot. In this house, again, this was very long.
Yeah.
It was a very long house.
Yeah. So I really like this one too. I was actually surprised because vampire houses can usually be pretty like...
They can be hit or miss. Because people are like, oh, vampires, what, his house.
Right.
Like that.
But they didn't really do any of that. Like they really concentrated on creating intensity, distractions, and unexpected scares. Like there would be something that would distract you, but something that would come out and then scare you.
And also, it wasn't just vampires. There were also the vampire killers in the house as well. So people would jump out with stakes.
Yeah, and they're like, keep going.
Yeah. And
is this the one you had to crawl? No, that was the wicked one, the witch. Or was it the vampire one?
No, I think that was the manor.
Oh, the manor. We totally forgot that part. Anyways,
yeah, it was the manor.
Yeah.
So there was a section in the manor where there's a person standing there, and she was like, you have to pick which way you want to go. You can either go here and crawl in this tunnel or go straight through this hallway.
And we were staring at her like, I'm sorry, what?
And so me and Annette, we decided to crawl. We went through the crawl tunnel.
And Corey and I decided to walk, which I don't know that if I was good at. Like there was somebody that kept popping out of a window and wouldn't let us go through.
Well, when we crawled through the tunnel, there was a lady. We were in the tunnel. We could see her, but she was below us, which was weird. And she kept hitting the thing. She was like, she said crawl, because we weren't really crawling. We were kind of crouched down walking. And she was like, she said crawl. And I was like, okay, let's just get out of here.
That was the Stranglewood Manors.
Yeah.
The Forgotten did not have that, but the Forgotten did its own pretty intense stuff. Yes. So I would say the Forgotten and what was the Witch?
Witch of the Woods.
Witch of the Woods are my top 2 houses for Howl-O-Scream this year.
I would agree.
Yeah. And I would go on the record and say there was no bad houses.
No.
It's not like when you go to horror night, sometimes you're like, okay, like
that one was okay.
6 of the 10 were good.
Yeah, I felt like all 5 houses were enjoyable. You're definitely gonna get some scares. And though the length may vary, I felt like thematically they all like were cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
And you really felt like you were in whatever environment they were trying to put you in.
Right. Hats off Busch Gardens. It's been a while. We really definitely enjoyed our night there. If you've been to any of these events, you know there's always scare zones, which is areas that they dedicate to scare you. Busch Gardens has 6 scare zones. I believe we walked through all of them. My highlight was probably the graveyard. Is that what it was called? The junkyard. The junkyard was the highlight for us. It was the first thing we actually did when we arrived after we got on Iron Gwazi. The junkyard was like a lot of old props. But if you've gone to Howl-O-Scream before, you kind of notice some nuggets.
Yeah, I felt like it was kind of their like a time capsule, for lack of a better word, of past houses or scare zones into like, we threw this away and it wound up here in this junkyard.
Yeah, like we noticed some of our favorite homes. There was one, the Bayou house, had a sign in there, and now the other sign is escaping me now.
And there's props from houses past and scare zones.
The
past.
mortuary. They used to have a mortuary house.
Yeah, so that was cool. It was a walkthrough. Like you went through a curtain and then you went around and around and came back out. So
yeah,
I thought it was cool for a scare zone.
They had 2 scare zones that felt more housey.
Yeah, because we thought it was a house at first,
right? But they really made it like its own path, whereas most scare zones are usually on the regular path,
right?
So I thought that was really good. And then was it Raven's Mill
with the pumpkins?
Yes,
yeah.
Raven's Mill was another really cool one. It was very pumpkin-y, scarecrow-y.
Scarecrows.
Which we love here. Chainsaws. Yeah. It was another one that was not as out of the way as the junkyard. Yeah. But it was definitely made to be more of a house feel to it in the way, like all the set props covered all the regular ways you could escape in this particular walkway. There was a pumpkin on stilts that decided to chase all of us, apparently.
Yeah, that was fun.
When I first walked by the pumpkin, he's like, "Are you lost?" I'm like, what? No, I'm just going to keep walking. And then as I got a little bit ahead of our group, and then before I know, I see them running. the pumpkin stilt guy is running behind us.
He was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Don't make me chase you." It was fun.
It was fun. The other scare zones were cute. There was a zombie one, a Las Vegas zombie one. There's a short on YouTube that you can go watch about that one. They were zombies, you know. They were doing their thing. It was cute. Beyond the Veil, I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah,
it was really pretty.
It was pretty, but it was a little strange.
It was a little strange. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of scare people in it. But visually, it was a lot of black lights with like the neon colors. Yeah. I thought it was very pretty. The shortcut, it was definitely a shortcut.
I mean, it was literally like a pass through.
Yeah.
And there were people around.
Pretty much. And then did we go through this one, the Derby? Is that what it's called?
Where's that?
This one right here, the Big Ed's.
Demolition Derby? I don't think we went through that.
Oh, wow. Did we miss a scare zone?
We might have missed one. I don't remember that.
Oh, wait. Was that the one with the things moving around like this? Yeah, that was it. Because there was a sign on the bumper cars ride.
Oh, okay. So we did go through it.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
Yeah. I mean, the Wiggly Man was cool, but
think of those things that you see at like car sales and that are just wiggling around like this.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
The eerie guys.
Yeah. It was cute, but I mean, I think the most intense one was probably the junkyard and Raven's Mill.
Yeah.
And most scare zones really aren't
scary.
That scary, honestly. But I think the ones that they made a concentrated effort to constrict you into a path are the ones that were the scariest, which was the graveyard, or I'm sorry, the junkyard and Raven's Mill. The other ones were more open scare zones.
Agreed.
They have shows. We could have seen the shows, but we didn't. Like we said, we were done by like 9:30ish.
Yeah, we decided to grab a drink.
Yeah.
Over at the Coke Pavilion, they had the raveyard.
The raveyard.
So they had like this DJ who had a giant pumpkin head on, and the eyes were like lights. And they had a dancer. And I don't know, it was cool. It was cute. It was cute.
It was a little vibe.
Yeah.
It's a nice picture place.
Is that a nice place to take pictures or video? And they have the standing table so you can stay in there with your drink until you finish it and go on.
So we had drinks. We enjoyed the decent music they were playing. Music wasn't great, but it was a rave, right?
I mean, yeah.
But it was cute. We had our drink. We talked. It was a nice way to end the night.
It was.
But if you're interested in checking out Howl-O-Scream, select nights through October. I think October 31st is the last night for them.
They're not going through November.
They're not going through November like Halloween Horror Nights. Because they got to get ready for Christmas Town.
Oh, yeah. That starts like November 2nd, right?
No, I think it's the 14th or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But definitely check it out if you're interested. Tickets are very cheap. I think they're under $50 right now.
Yeah. They're trying to get people to come.
They're running all kinds of sales. So definitely go check them out. I think you'll have a good time if you're in the Tampa area or if you're visiting and like spooky events. Check it out. It's a cute one. You don't feel like a truck ran over you like you do after Halloween Horror Nights.
Right.
In other news, it's not spooky news.
It's not spooky. It's fantastic. It's like an early Christmas gift, if you will.
It is kicking off the month of December.
It really is. So you know that we went to the Renaissance show. We loved the Renaissance show. Beyonce gives you life. And she has decided to give it to you once again, but in theaters. So the Renaissance show will be shown.
Sorry, that was my fan in case you're not watching.
Oh, that's
sorry to scare you.
The Renaissance movie will head to theaters on December 3rd. First. In AMC theaters, you can get your tickets now. They are on sale. Excited about this because we have been talking about it. We were like, what is she going to do? Is she going to put it on Netflix?
Yeah, we're like, there's no way this is not going to be on something.
It has to be on something. And then when Taylor Swift announced that her tour was going to theaters, we were like, oh, that would make sense for Beyonce. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, after her last date, the next day we got a trailer.
It was 12:01 a.m. after last show in Kansas City.
And she announced that she will be in theaters.
Yeah. Now it's not, I don't know about the Taylor Swift one. I think Taylor Swift is just a full show. Mm-hmm. Beyonce's doing something like she did for Homecoming. If you didn't watch her Coachella Homecoming performance, she released it on Netflix. It was semi-documentary, semi-show.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's what she's
I expect it to be the same way because from the trailer you can see she's talking about the show, the making of the show. We'll get some behind the scenes things. So I'm really excited about it because I would love to see how that show came together because it's amazing.
Yeah. So definitely excited to go see it. I think our group last night declared we would be going to Orlando apparently to watch it as a group to see a Renaissance, or I don't know what it's called. Is it a movie by Beyonce?
Oh, a film by Beyonce?
A film by Beyonce. So we're excited. Are you going to go see a film by Beyonce? Let us know.
I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for people that could not go to the show, right? If you couldn't get tickets to a show for whatever reason, I think this is a great, inexpensive way to see the show.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, we're going to, but but it opens it up to everyone that couldn't afford those tickets, and I think that's what Taylor Swift is doing as well. Like, the artists know their tickets were expensive.
Right.
So being able to create access for other people to see it is good. I mean,
And
come
to,
on.
and to get that feeling of you're not in a stadium, but a movie theater can feel like a stadium.
Right. I wonder if she's going to release specific movie theater merchandise. Because she released the line on Amazon for the tour.
Sold at the theater?
Yeah, can you imagine like a Renaissance in theaters shirt or something?
The other day, I don't know if it was on TikTok or Snapchat. I think it was Snapchat. I saw kind of the story of how the glittery cowboy hat came to be. There was this girl who was making them on Etsy, and Beyonce's team reached out to her, and she kind of kicked that whole thing off.
Now she's a millionaire
and
not selling on Etsy no more.
Right.
Well, awesome.
But you that just goes to show, like, you never know who's watching you or who's seeing your stuff. Like,
I mean, these celebrities have teams of people that are probably the social media giants.
Right.
And you show it to the artist and the artist likes it. There you go.
You never know.
But we're excited about that. We hope, well, we don't hope. What am I trying to say? Let us know again if you're going to go check out Beyonce's Renaissance World Tour or a movie by Beyonce, whatever it's called.
the Renaissance movie.
The debates is now starting that this is Act 2 because Beyonce always said this would be 3 acts.
If she didn't say it, I don't believe it.
That's what I said. She didn't say it. This is Act 2. Mm-hmm. There was a theater out there calling it Act 2. And I said, you better stop before you get sued. But she hasn't declared it Act 2. So I'm not going to declare it Act 2.
Nobody knows what Act 2 is but her.
Right.
And until she tells us what it is, then I'm going to just be like, this is just a film by Beyonce.
It's another time to enjoy it. Right. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Beyonce's coming to an AMC near you.
Get your tickets now.
Available at amc.com. Not sponsored. Well, that's going to close the mixtape this week for us. We're going to jump into What's Your Issue? Well, welcome back to What's Your Issue on episode 51 of the Manny and Sean Experience. My voice hoarse is because of Howl-O-Scream. I don't think I said that during the mixtape. Because if you go watch the vlog that comes out this Friday, or if you're not listening the week this podcast come out, the vlog might already be out.
I love the way you said that, by the way.
What?
My voice hoarse. It reminded me of Nicole. Because this week on the pod, she was just... Never mind. She was saying things so weird, but it was funny.
Well, you know, I keep saying, let's bring Nicole Byers on the
I would love to have Nicole on the show.
If you don't know Nicole Byers, she's former host of Nailed It on Netflix.
She still does Nailed It.
Oh, I thought it got canceled.
It's not canceled.
Okay, it's still on Netflix. And she's an amazing comedian.
Yes.
And has like 67 podcasts.
I wish she would come to Tampa again. I want to see
her. I'd go see her and put a sticker in her hand. Anyways, so that's why my voice is like this. So in What's Our Issue? What's my issue this week? I don't really have... I guess we shouldn't say that. We've explained that What's Our Issue could be anything that we want to talk about. Yes. So I'm going to talk about Bad Bunny's new song, Preview.
Go ahead with the preview.
Which Bad Bunny won 7 Latin Billboard Awards this past week. And he gave a fiery 9-minute performance of some of his hits.
Oh, it was like a... what's that?
A melody?
Yes.
Yes, it was a melody of some of his hot tunes. I think he was nominated for 13 or 14 awards, but he claimed 7 of them. Karol G, who is the hot Latina right now in the reggaeton space, claimed some of those awards too. I think both of them are like the leading Latin artists right now. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to our last podcast, you'll see why. The Hulu special that's also running on ABC. But His new song, Un Preview, is literally, as he said at the opening of the song, a preview of what's yet to come. And if we remember Un Verano Sin Ti, he told us a trap album would be coming out, though he said like in 9 months after that album, and it didn't happen. So the timeline's a little delayed, but I'm excited for it. I thought the song was great. It definitely touches back to true reggaeton style. There wasn't anything unique in the song in terms of the sound of it.
Unique?
But it's definitely a song that you can just, throw it back. Shake your booty. And I was excited. Anytime Bad Bunny releases a new song, I'm excited to hear it.
Are you going to talk about the Drake song?
Oh, yes. And Drake released a new album. Drake is cool. But, I went straight to the featured Bad Bunnies.
Of course.
I thought this collaboration was phenomenal. Drake starts the song with a little ballad. And I'm like, please don't let this be a ballad. I don't want a ballad. But Drake's out there doing a little singing in Spanish. I'm like, okay, Drake, I see you. And then the ballady music stops, and then and it goes into like a reggae beat. And then not Bad Bunny. Drake starts doing some rapping with a little bit of Spanishy, and then some Spanglish. And then there's like a Dominican lady saying something. I forgot what she says. And then Bad Bunny's beat drops then, and it's like dembow, which is more of a Dominican style of music mixed and infused with like reggaeton. And he drops his verse on it too. And I just thought this song was fire. Like, I feel like this song crosses English and Spanish generation very well. And I feel like it's going to do very well in clubs, like Latin and English played clubs. I think it's great. You should go listen to it. Drake's album's pretty good too, but that one song is just fire. So again, I know I talk a lot about Bad Bunny on this podcast.
Look, he's your fave. Like,
it's been a while.
You're allowed.
I mean, last week I had to. It was part of the special.
I mean, yeah. Even though he was just in the special with clips of old interviews, he was still like the star of the special. He was the star of the special. But yeah, definitely check out the new Bad Bunny song. Yes. Do you have an issue today? If not, I have a question. No, let's take the question.
All right. So we've been asking y'all to submit questions. We're going to answer them as time permits on our podcast. This one was not anonymous.
It was not anonymous.
Anonymous. This one was submitted by Julia Meyer Thrasher, a great friend of the pod. She says or asks, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you want to do?
If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I want to do?
Yeah, that's fears hold us back from a lot of things in life, don't they?
I mean, they do. Do you have an answer?
I have an answer.
Go ahead.
My dream is to open an Airbnb, or more so like a small boutique hotel.
Okay.
I would probably lean more into the small boutique hotel with like 6 rooms or so. That if I knew I could not fail at that, I would do it. And the amount of money that it takes to do it is astronomical. But that would be something that I've always wanted to do, like not growing up, but a lot of my previous work experiences in hospitality before I got into education. So I always have that side of my brain that always wants to be in hospitality in some form. And I've always said I would want to do that at some point. I mean, we've talked about opening up Airbnb house or something, but I would really like to do like a small boutique hotel if I knew I couldn't fail at it. I mean, it's easy to fail at these type of things.
This is true.
But yeah, I think that's what I would do. I would still I was thinking about something else. Like I said, I always want to do like a dog rescue, and I don't think I would fail at that. So I'm not going to, I mean, there's so many dogs that are in need. So I don't think I would fail at that.
Okay.
I gave you like 5 minutes.
I know you did. And like my mind was like going from this thing to that thing to this thing. So if it was something where I couldn't fail, like I thought about the dog bar
Oh yeah, that was another one.
/ park thing. So we have one of those here in Tampa, but we thought about, what if we opened our own? And it's a place where you can take it's a bar, but they also have like an open outside area for the dogs, and there's also an inside area for the dogs. But it's like it's where you can go grab a drink and bring your dog, and your dog can meet other dogs, and you can meet other dog owners, and it's just a really nice place.
Yeah. It's like when you take your kids to the park and you talk to the other park parents. Except, us folks who don't want to have kids, we take our dogs.
Right.
Because when we've gone to dog parks, I think, or dog bar type situations,
Yeah.
you don't see no kids for the most part.
No.
It's usually just the fur baby parents
Yeah.
and their friends are drinking some beers, no troubles. But, still having to go, hey, dog, come here.
So the next thing that I thought of is, since I was young, I've always been into drawing and being an artist. And I love that stuff, and I don't do it as much anymore. Life, getting older, that whole thing. The children's book that I illustrated was a lot of fun, and it made me think about when I was younger. I wanted to make my own comic books. I wanted to build my own characters and universe. And if I knew that I wouldn't fail at that, I would do that. I would build my own brand. I would build my own universe, kind of like we have the DC, the MCU, like my own characters being brought to life in comics or one day in movie form. Like I would.
Awesome. So thank you for that question. We posted a link for anonymous questions. Because I know some people don't want to, have their name associated with a question, or don't like social media being blasted their names or whatever. So,
And that's fine.
So please keep submitting those questions through the anonymous link. As time allows in our podcast, we're just going to pick them out of that anonymous app, and depending on how raunchy it might be, we'll answer it on the next episode. So please keep sending those questions to us. Well, that will wrap up our first spooky season podcast.
There should be a difference. What's a spooky sound?
Whoa.
Okay.
No. But this was our first spooky season podcast, with the vlog coming out on Friday. And then we're going to Halloween Horror Nights. So we'll have a podcast review on that. Maybe not as extensive house by house, because it is 10 houses.
You know what? I mean, that depends if we get through all 10.
It depends if we get through all of them. And then we'll also have a vlog to come after that particular podcast. We also have our not virgin.
He is all over the place.
We have our carnival celebration vlogs out. We have 3 out now, correct?
Yes, there are 3 vlogs out now for your enjoyment. Aruba and Curacao is the latest one. But if you haven't seen vlog 1 and 2, go check those out. And I think there will be a 4th. I know there will be a 4th vlog, and I think that will be the final one. But we'll see.
Yeah. So lots of great things happening here. Some that we can and cannot share yet. We did do our podcast with our friend Ralph Anthony from Scream Queer Podcast, and that'll be coming out. Stay tuned to our socials to get the date when that will be dropping. That was a spooky good time.
Yeah, Ralph is very fun and easy to talk to. I think we had a great interview with him, so be on the lookout.
Oh my God, he was like the sweetest person.
For real.
For real. So that'll do it today for episode
51.
51, thank you. We have no notes today. Any last words for our beautiful people out there?
I hope you're enjoying the start of spooky season. Get out there and do some spooky things.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be scares. There's a lot of PG Halloween things.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun.
Busch Gardens does
things.
Busch Gardens does like a trick or treat thing for kids during the day. I think it's only on the weekends, and they used the whole Gwazi Park. I thought it was cute.
Cool.
So definitely go check that out if you're into that.
Yeah.
And as we said at the top of the show, follow our socials. What is it again?
MAXP23.
He fucked it up. MASXP.
What did I say?
You missed the S.
Oh.
MASXP23 on all social media platforms. Well, our audio folks. On all social media platforms, you can find us. We are mostly active on Instagram because that is where we get the most engagement. And TikTok just really likes to block shit for some reason. I don't know. It's because the government's all on their ass or whatever. But you put one little piece of music on it and they're like, nah, bitch, blocked. Or your video was posted, but it was muted. I'm like, well, what's the point of the video then?
For people that can read lips.
Anyway. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can email us at
mannyandsean@gmail.com. MANNYANDSHAWN@gmail.
Boom. Put the nail in that coffin.
Okay.
So we hope to keep the spooky season trending throughout this month with our podcast. And maybe, not everything's going to have a vlog that goes along with it, but some of these events are big enough to where we can do a vlog.
Yes. And shout out to all our new subscribers. I hope you have been enjoying the content. The vlogs have been doing really well, so we appreciate everyone watching.
Yeah, and everybody who's commented on them. Appreciate that too.
Yes.
Well, that's going to do it for here. For some reason, I'm hungry, so I need to go eat something. As we like to say here on the Manny and Sean Experience podcast, which I'm going to start saying now in our vlogs, do something good for yourself.
And then do something good for someone else.
Yes, that'll do it, y'all. Have a great rest of your week whenever you're listening to this. We hope you're doing well and staying spooky because Mariah Carey is defrosting. All right, y'all. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye. Spooky season.